Hello, my name is Debbie Thompson. I'm your facilitator for today on a course called Achieving Clarity in Technical Communications. I hope you'll be able to get good tips from this course, especially those of you who are designing courses for e-learning or those of you who may be new at instructional design. Let's get started. Let's take a look at what this course is going to cover. We're going to take a look at why technical writing can be a challenge. We want to examine why clarity is such a critical part of technical writing, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this course will guide you. What will you learn? Keep in mind this is a multi-part course. We're only going to cover a few things today, but you will learn by the end of the course what a good report requires. You'll also be able to learn how to write crisp and clear procedures, and how to use graphics to visually make your point. You will also learn to simplify and streamline your writing process. So once this course is completed, you'll be able to demonstrate the fundamentals and key concepts of technical writing, how to get writing off to a good start, and oftentimes that's the most difficult part, and how to project credibility and professionalism in your writing. You're going to learn about the 3 common technical formats, and also how to conduct effective editing and proofwriting. So by the end of this course, and specifically this lesson, you should be able to, number 1, describe 4 ways to achieve clarity in technical writing, and number 2, explain why it's important to make documents clear and easy to understand. So let's take a look at these directions for a printer. Suppose you opened your brand new printer box and received these instructions. There's a lot of stuff you need to do before you can use your new printer. First, set your DPI at 600 by 600, and then load 10 by 30 HGPP into the output tray. Would you know what to do with those directions? Probably not. Those directions lack clarity. They do not tell you specifically what to do, nor how to do it. It doesn't explain certainly why to do it, and doesn't tell you how to do it. So good directions, very clear technical writing, provides specific details. In that writing, you use words that your reader understands. You define acronyms and abbreviations, and you write sentences in active voice. An interesting thing happened to me the other day. I received an email from my children's school stating that they are starting before and after school care. It had the time, the cost, locations, even described some activities they'll do there. But by the end of the day, parents had a lot of questions, and their Facebook page the school's Facebook page was full of closed questions, such as, what happens if kids get dropped off early for remediation? What if parents need 1 day a week, but not every day? Will there be sibling discounts? By the end of the day, the school removed the information from their Facebook page. Some things they had not done. Number 1, anticipate their audience's questions and concerns. They did not make sure they were explaining how they wanted the audience to do this, how they wanted parents to sign up. They just gave basic information. When giving specific details, it's important to tell who, what, when, why, where. The same 5 W's that journalists use reporting the news. But I, as a technical writer, always include one more letter, and that's the letter H. Tell how you want it done. For example, it's very important to use specific language instead of vague pronouns, as exemplified in this memo. Bring all the stuff you have collected for that thing we talked about at the last staff meeting. If you received a memo like this from your boss, you'd probably laugh. The boss would have been much more concise and much more specific had there been a list of the items he wanted brought or she wanted brought to the meeting. Another example is you have to use words your reader understands. It's important that we land this deal, says this example. So put your thinking caps on and think outside the box. I don't want us to count our chickens before they hatch, but this deal could mean a big payoff for our company. Well, maybe if you're talking to your girlfriend at a bar or you're at a very casual non-work event, this might make sense. But this was certainly full of cliches. That is, overused phrases that lack meaning. 4 in this one conversation. So put your thinking caps on and think outside the box. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, and big payoff for the company. The boss would have had much more of an impact by using a statement like this. It's important that our employees work together to secure this deal. So we need to brainstorm ideas that we haven't discussed before. It's not certain that we will get the deal, but if we work together and come up with something creative, we could potentially earn the company a lot of money. Another thing we have to be sure that we do not overuse is jargon. Those are words that a particular profession may use, but that may not be easily understood by the general public. My profession of education is guilty of doing this all the time. We use words that almost require people to get dictionaries and look them up to understand what we're talking about. And of course, the general public uses a lot of acronyms all the time. You want to use words that stick to simple, easy to understand vocabulary. Take a look at this that is typically used in the field of education. A meeting for Tim's IEP will be held Monday. We will discuss his LD and BED and decide if he is in his LRE. Parents would not understand those acronyms in most cases. Teachers, probably. But if you take an acronym or an abbreviation, such as ADA, it could stand for many things. For example, Americans with Disabilities Act or American Dental Association. We want to be sure to define acronyms and abbreviations by first writing out the actual words the first time you mention them in your document, then add the acronym or abbreviation in parentheses, as in this example. The American Dental Association, ADA, was founded in 1859. The ADA is a nonprofit group of over 157,000 dentists. So we want to be sure that we are clarifying our acronyms and abbreviations before we use them. Another way to be sure that you are writing with clarity is to write in active voice. Active voice is the subject of the sentence, where the subject of the sentence is performing the action of the verb. Passive voice, the subject of the sentence is being acted upon by the verb. Let's take a look at these two sentences. Sally sat in the chair. Active voice. The chair was sat upon by Sally. Passive voice. Which one is clearer for you to understand and more concise? All the time, the active voice is much clearer and more concise. So remember, active voice, the subject of the sentence is performing the action of the verb. Let's summarize what we've talked about today. We'd say that in order to write with clarity, We want to be sure to use the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why. And I always add H for how. You want to provide specific details. Use words your reader understands. Define acronyms and abbreviations. And write sentences in active voice. Are there any questions? We could do a quick check here. For example, what are some specific details you might be sure to include when developing technical communication materials? You anticipate your audience's questions and concerns. Use words your audience understands. Avoid acronyms and abbreviations. Use active tense or voice. You also want to explain how you want your audience to do something, not just that you want them to do it. I always enjoy doing this fun activity, and participants seem to enjoy it too. You pick one of the topics below and write with clarity a simple yet comprehensive technical narrative that communicates how to perform one of the tasks below. How to copy a passage in MS Word, or how to log on to your computer without revealing your password. How to cook a scrambled egg, and how to fold an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and put it into a standard size envelope. I always intrigue my participants by letting them know, or asking them rather, do you know how many steps it takes to tie your shoe? 36, when explained properly. Listen, I have had so much fun being with you today. I hope you've learned a little bit about technical writing and the importance of writing with clarity. Thank you for the opportunity to present this information. I hope you've benefited. Until next time, have a good one.